It's your favorite person in the world here with you guys. We're going to do some boss battle prep with you. I'm joined with a group of cast today. Mr. Booga, Mr. Mortal, Mr. RB, and Mr. Shih Tzu. So we're going to have some fun today. We're going to stream for about an hour and a half here with you guys just to get some boss battle prep done. Go over some tour setups for you guys. Look ahead as far as what the showdown is going to look like for this weekend. With what information we can give. Also, too, look ahead at look ahead at everything else that comes with this that we'll be doing this week. Boss battle being the midweek and everything. Also going to check in, with everyone on their shards and all recruitment and all that. So we got a good little stream schedule for you guys today. So we're going to give a couple. We had a little technical difficulty. So we're going to let some people get caught up back online here. Of the group, the most chilled person you'll ever meet until you piss them off. And Mr. Shih Tzu is the biggest smack talker you'll ever meet. So we've got a good group of people here with us tonight. So, what was everyone's thoughts on the feud this weekend? I mean, just overall gameplay wise and overall that. Felt like it's a lot easier. I don't know about you guys.
It was a little bit easier, feud wise. I was just surprised I didn't see as many defensive setups. I saw a few, but not as many like you would normally would see, especially with the Armor 2 setups and stuff like that.
I saw them, but it was just I didn't feel like it was that bad of a feud. RB, what did you thought as a free-to-play player?
I saw them every single feud on my alt account. Not my main, my alt. I saw like 3 or 4 Armor 2s.
Your alt account, we can't really compare.
My alt had some bad luck.
We can't compare anything on your alt account. I mean, that's just how it.
It was just tough. It is. But as far as the main account, a lot of people were running blue moves, and a lot of people were getting smacked by JD. So it was pretty fun feud. It was a really fun feud.
JD was an MVP.
I didn't use JD at all, so.
I didn't. He was an MVP.
So I didn't use JD at all. Didn't really care about using JD at all.
He was a menace all feud.
He may have been for you. He was nothing for me. So,
well, that's the good thing with them is anytime I faced Armor 2s, it didn't matter if I was running JD.
It didn't matter for me. Turtle Ray, KO, Hall of Fame DDP, they were all smacking like normal. So it was Ozzy was actually probably the biggest surprise out of all of them, as far as what you saw this weekend.
Ozzy was a desperate. He was smacking people left and right.
Yeah. So Ozzy to me was the biggest one of them all there. At the end of the day.
And of course, I was running Foxy, I was running OTC, I was running Vanilla Ice Cena. I mean, I had my hairs and everything. One turn every time.
All right. Yeah, I mean, again, I just thought feud was a little easy. I mean, kind of easy for me to say, at the end of the day, but it is what it is. So let's talk about this now. We're giving some people some time to get on here. Boss battle. Midweek boss battle. Going against the big boss man of the corporation, the new powerhouse that everyone is chasing this month. Red gems are going to get a 300% increase. Multiply gems are going to increase by 7. All gems are going to get a 25% decrease, and botch gems are going to do 300%. With that being said, you're also going to look at, some different things where he's going to do 13 million per turn, and he's going to add on 2 million each additional turn that as it lasts up. The shield breaker is 200 black gems. It cannot be, affected by any boss breakers. He's going to heal by 20% of his health at every turn. And then he's going to have the increased MP cost. So you're definitely going to want raise the roof, someone in your group to have raise the roof, especially if you get to turn 3. And then someone to break black gems, So we'll go through all that with you guys. So Ozzy will be a gem breaker in this one pretty easily, I think, just off the shield breaker. However, the two that I think are going to be just absolute godforsaken menaces is going to be KO and Fatu. Those are going to be your two guys that can just wreak havoc very quickly, very easily. Miz is going to be a good free-to-play guy who can do some damage. You would have to run him a different way than normal, and we'll go over that. The other one I think who could wreak some damage is Zombie Brett.
I think he'll hit for about 140.
Well, I'm looking at
140
it.
mil.
I'm looking at
And
that.
the reason I say that is because I've used him before, and that's about what he would.
I'm
So-
looking at it from that way. I think he could. I just think he could hit, and you can run him two different setups. You can run him off the black gem setup with the jugs to kind of help that, or you can run him off the red gem setup. So Z Brett, is going to be another good one this weekend. Sheamus will be all right. I don't think he'll be a killer like everyone's thinking, just because there is no steel plate because we're inside the steel cage. Another one that
The only thing that'll help with him is if you have Z Bailey as a coach at 35K, and then if you have the Imperium moment maxed out.
another one who could be really good here, very surprisingly, is going to be the champ Acro Sammy, because he's going to turn the whole board into red gems, if you can do it right with the, if you run them blue, red, blue, I believe, because you're going to want to run the sub at the end of the day. Yeah, so the
I
sub.
think Legends KO will be a good one too.
I think he's another one of those free-to-play kind of guys. I don't know if the damage is going to be there as much with him, just because not having the skill plate at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean he still does get that 50% boost, and that will stack. But it all depends on how often he can run his move.
Right, and I think that's where the
reinforced gem instead.
right, and I think that's where the issue comes in at. Right, is what you can get there. Welcome 4D, welcome Lona, welcome Maximus, welcome 3 Angles Down. Appreciate you guys joining the stream. I just think that Legends Era KO, this boss battle has a feel of if you don't have Powerhouse KO, if you don't have Fight 2, you're not going to be a carrier this midweek. It just has that feel to it. There's a lot of guys that do red gems, but they don't.
This one is relying on a lot of the premium players.
I feel like Sammy would be a mid-tier kind of option, Acro Sammy. See, Brett's a mid-tier kind of guy. So, if you don't
Another one that might be decent is Hall of Fame Dusty.
Hall of Fame
Dusty.
The issue I have with Hall of Fame Dusty is how slow he takes to get his move set up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, again, I just have the feeling of if you're not a carrier, you need to bring in the gem breakers this time. That's just my thoughts on it. So Ozzy, I think you're going to see a lot of Ozzy's just for the shield breaker, just because I just don't know if you're going to have the damage at the end of the day, like a KO will, like a Fatu will, at the end of the day.
And then those for a pretty good premium character for Shieldbreaker is going to be Rex Regan, because he's going to have to he's going to turn the whole board reinforced and turn them into black gems.
Yeah, I mean Rex Regum, Ozzy, those are the kind of guys that are gonna, really do well at the end of the day. I think for boss battle, I don't think they're gonna be hurting by any means necessary, and I don't think you're gonna be wrong running a Showboat KO or a Miz. I just don't think they're gonna be the guys that's gonna carry your squad for you and carry your faction for you. I really don't think that. And someone like me who has Powerhouse KO, I've kind of been waiting on this kind of boss battle for a minute. I wish they didn't put the steel cage rules in where there's no skill plate, but that's a whole, another story, because those multipliers on mine would be times 15, and I don't think, for me, we would need even another person with me on that part. We still may not, just because, KO's KO. The last Red Gem boss battle they came out with KO was the hitter. One KO was carrying everyone. So I think it's very much how your faction's going to do it. I think Powerhouse Hogan could be someone that could be really well as well this weekend. So that's another, option for this midweek. So that's just my, personal opinion there. I hope everyone's done their scouting in the chat. If you haven't, shame on you. Yes, I am going to call out someone who's in this voice chat. Mr. RB, why did you all not do scouting yesterday?
Wow. Because I forgot what.
See, even the person who people forget. I get it, but that's just something, make sure you're doing that. Make sure you're not screwing your faction at the end of the day, chat. Get that in there. That's very important to get in there. So let's go.
Mine in there for today.
I do have mine in for today on the main. I haven't touched mine yet, though.
So let's go over some bills here. Brawling Brute Sheamus, I think, is going to be a good one here. The only thing I don't like with him is you're going to have to swipe a gem. And I think that's a problem. What's up, Three Angles Down, man? How you doing tonight? So I would run, Brawling Brute Sheamus red, yellow, just because you can put the one-time countdowns out there, get the multipliers of 3, then hit your choose your 4 gems into yellow, make it to where you can make a 5-gem break, so your countdowns go away, and then recycle it with the yellow move. That's how I would do it. I just feel like he's not going to hit as well because you're going to have to run dual MP, which takes out Sherry in this situation. So you're only going to get your multipliers up to 11 with Men Rock. Powerhouse KO, pretty simple. You're going to run him yellow, purple, and just let him go to work. I don't know how else to put that one. Do you guys?
Nope.
No. You hit the nail right on the head with that one.
Fury 3 medals, 150% gem damage belt, stack the red gems on the belt, and just go to work. When he hits, he hits. When he doesn't, he doesn't. But even if he doesn't, you're still going to hit at some point. Like, it's just guaranteed. You might have to wait for the shield breaker, but he's still going to hit. I personally think Acro Sammy could be good. He's one of those sleeper kind of picks there. Because you can run it with the red MP, get it up there, run Sherry, hit the sub. No, you're not really going to want to run the sub. You're not really going to want to run the sub on this one. just by looking at it. I mean, you could run the sub, but I think, I think the diving crossbody is going to be the way to go just because you're going to be able to hit the red gems at the end of the day. And then Fatu. This one's about as simple gets. Hit the sub, put your countdowns out, hit that down button, and go to work. Another guy who's just going to, I think, destroy. Now, if you don't have any of these guys, I think another one you could possibly look at here, especially in that defensive position, I think it's, there's actually a couple. Hall of Fame DDP, really well. I know he's still a premium guy at the end of the day. Acrocena, I think you could get away with a little bit. The new one.
Special edition John Chandler.
I think you can get away with him a little bit at the end of the day. I'm not going to say for sure, but, he's got the multiplier, so it'll do some damage. The Miz. You'll have to change up how you run him, but he is one that could really make some damage here. You would have to run him the double axe handle, the shout-out jawbreaker, the sit-out jawbreaker, and the reality check. That's how you're going to have to run him, but I think you could get somewhere with that. I really do.
In all honesty, you could still run him the other way. If it runs anything like the last feud, or not the last feud, but the last boss battle, he was hitting around 200 mil for me. So he wouldn't be a main hitter, but he'd be a secondary hitter.
Right. I just don't know if you could.
And I'm sure you could find a way to juice damage out of him, no matter what.
I'm sure you could.
I honestly think with the main setup, as far as the Miz is concerned, if you have his moment max and if you have his gear, his power couple's gear, just with the multipliers right off the bat, I think he'll still smash.
I think that no matter what, Miz is one of those guys that he's unless it's a yellow gem with multiplier, he's never going to be like the guy. But he's so versatile enough that he could easily be, secondary, 200 million hitter. Never going to be a guy that's going to carry at the end of the day.
Unless it's a yellow, like you said, unless it's a yellow multiplier, that's the only other way that he'll ever be a carry.
Right, and that's what I think there. That's what I think. That's at least what I think at the end of the day. I could be very wrong, but that's at least, my innuendo thought process. So, Miz, but if you want to play the red gems, there's options there at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely, most definitely.
Other than that, I just don't, I don't see the guys that could be that. I mean, obviously, Z Cody. Again, though, I feel like with them taking the skill plates on, you don't have that. Hall of Fame JBL is going to be a good one. Powerhouse Hogan will be a good one. A sneaky good one I think that you might be able to get away with if you... you couldn't really get away with JD as a sneaky guy. Again, skill plates not being in here is going to hurt. And I think that's where the biggest problem comes in, right? When you take out these skill plates, you take out some decent options at the end of the day.
And I honestly want to say OTT could do some massive damage because if you have the right setup, you can get with his moment match, you can get a multiplies up to times 26.
I still feel like that's one of those though that everything's got to fall into place on. I don't think he's going to be as big as the hitter as everyone thinks he is.
So that one you're going to need.
You're going to need everything.
Think build without your quote unquote foundation. You have to have A, B, C, D, and E. Without one, it doesn't work.
Yeah, and again, I think that, you know, you're looking at it from Wolf Ozzy. Yeah, you know, I looked at Wolf Ozzy. I thought about that for a minute. My issue with Wolf Ozzy, and it kind of falls into that Brawling Brute Sheamus kind of feel, is how fast the animations are going to go. KO, everyone knows KO with power sacrifice that a little bit. I don't know if the damage output is as high with Wolf Ozzy with the animations, because sometimes they can be slow, especially when you're talking one-time speed. That's, you know, where I'm kind of looking at. Again, Powerhouse Hogan with the gear and a couple props. Gonna smack. I think that's the problem with the Red Gem guys. A lot of their animations are a little slower compared to normal. But I also feel like the midweek boss battles are a little bit easier than the weekend boss battles at the end of the day. There's more options at the end of the day on the midweek, at least from my opinion.
I would agree.
Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just, you know, my educated opinion there. So, you know, I'm not gonna sit there and say it's not something that couldn't be there. So, again, that's who I think you're going to be able to use for boss battle. I think it's pretty self-explanatory this week. You know, another one who, if you want to do a little bit of damage, feel like you can. Yeah, Tech Rays are definitely too slow. I think you got to look at it that way. If you don't have a hitters, anyone who does Black Gem, so Ozzy, Rex Regum, Z-Brett, those are going to be the guys that help your faction break the shield. It's one thing I wish Scopely would fix is they bring back Neutralizer to get rid of the shield, or at least fix it to where it's useful again. At the end of the day, that's one thing I would hope for. You know, bring back Neutralizer to where it's useful again.
Neutralizer will actually take off the healer shield, and there's one that he increases his damage. I think the Neutralizer can eliminate that as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Mercy, I think he'd be a good shield breaker. I think he would, at the end of the day. So, I mean, to me, that's just the boss battle stuff, though, right? It's a midweek boss battle at the end of the day. You know, some factions are relaxed on that. Some factions are strict. You know, whatever your faction does, you know, make sure you get it done. You know, I hear the excuses that a recruiter for my faction and a co-leader for my faction. You know, I wasn't on when I was supposed to be on, and I didn't let anyone know. So communicate. That's Tribal's words of advice for the day. Just communicate. So, we have gone ahead and uploaded NWO Randy Savage video onto YouTube, how to run them with a basic build and a premium build. Check that out if you guys are still struggling running him. At this point, I feel like a lot of people took him to gold when they did that rework, so it was just kind of a rehash kind of video, I feel like. It wasn't... This is one that it wasn't one that we had, you know, hadn't used in 2-3 years and everyone forgot how to run them kind of thing. So we're going to get into some tours now. I purposely haven't done a lot of them just to save it for you guys here. So we're going to do this Attitude Era tour. Those of you guys who have Thrasher, this is one of those characters that I feel like has not aged well at all. New, which is a big part of the problem. I don't think he's aged well at all.
I honestly quite think he's not even. I honestly think he's only good enough for his trainer ability. That's as far as I got him up. I don't think he's worthy of going 6 silver or 6 gold.
I at this point I don't think so either. I don't think even as a free to play he is. I run him black or black blue. Obviously the blue's not going to be turn 1 with Sherry, but I feel like you almost have to have Sherry there just to make any kind of damage. That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen come up on my screen.
I had that happen to me a couple of times.
Yeah.
And then, of course, if you don't have Sherry, Tech, if you have him high enough, Tech
3 Eagles down. Appreciate the follow, man. Thank you. So, where's everyone at on their beat cake right now? Their striker beat cake.
I just took mine to 4-star gold.
4 gold,
Maxing
4
feud.
gold.
Maxing feud helped a lot. I will say that.
I was able to take mine to 5-star bronze on Sunday thanks to the big ranking I had in feud. Those 1,000 tokens really helped me out with that. Which 4-star gold, 3 angles. I mean, I feel like everyone should be right around the 4 silver, 4 gold range. I feel like that's where the pace should be at the end of the day.
Mine's at 4 bronze. Later this week, he should, if Boss Battle does right, the Lords are right, he should be going 4 silver midweek. He should be 4 gold by the end of the week.
It's about right pace. Anywhere in that range, I think is about right.
I think it all depends if you spend or not. I still think 4 silver should kind of be the
Before feud or right after feud.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like, and RB's a free-to-play player, so, I mean, I feel like that's where it should be, especially if you're out there grinding. I think most people are going to max him about 5 silver, 5 gold. I've seen some 6 golds already, but I know those were probably all pulls or no telling how much they spent at the end of the day.
Yeah, 6 gold is going to be pulled.
Yeah, I mean, 3 angles, I got the $100 one this time just because I could. That was more for me because I need to build up a few resources this month. So, but yeah, that feels like they're not allowing you to get them to 6 bronze as much anymore, like they used to with the Evo tokens. But I think that's a good thing at the end of the day. Because I felt like when everyone was able to take them to 6 bronze, it kind of diluted the value of it a little bit. Because it felt like after 6 bronze, you stalled out. It was just you got it there faster. So I felt like it kind of diluted the value. And, you want to keep that fair play of if someone spends on something, you want them to have the value of it at the end of the day. I don't know how you guys feel on the call, but that's how I feel.
I mean, I ain't gonna complain if I get somebody hired.
No, I mean, I'm sure. I'm
It's
sure.
nice for the free to plays.
It's nice. I'm not saying it's not nice for the free to plays.
Am I saying it right now?
But
you should get something.
But I also feel like if you're gonna spend the money on it, you should get some value of it at the end of the day.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That's just how I feel.
We don't want EA over here.
Exactly. We don't. We never want the game to turn into EA Sports.
Even though I always call Scopely EA's child. They're not as bad.
I mean, 3 angles. I look at it, as a. I look at it as a kind of a double-edged sword there because there are plus and minuses to the B tier versus S plus tier, argument. I think. I feel like some of your S plus tiers have gone out of play a little bit faster than your B tiers, but I feel like your S plus tiers as well, the ones that stay in relevance, they stay in relevance. So I think it's a double-edged sword at the end of the day. I think the coach and trainer for a B tier is you get a better value on it as a coach trainer. This one, not so much. Even though I could see a lot of these, a lot of people going to put this beefcake on against their Charlotte Flairs and female feuds just to lower down her hip. I feel like that's what this is. So we're going to do a 5-bolt here off the Army loop just to see what we can get.
Shake it, dice, and roll it.
There's a Fury 6. I'm never going to complain about that. I really want those Punk Gauntlet shards. That's what I really want right now. Another Fury 6. So 2 Fury 6s, a 60% legendary. So there's an Armor 6 metal. I'll take that. Or Armor 2 metal. I'll take that all day long. I want as many of those as I can get my filthy hands on it. This week on Monday that I felt like was needed, and we'd be remiss not to talk about it. I think them revamping the Showdown shop and the coins. I feel like that was a good call. I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like that was a good call at the end of the day.
I really like the new Showdown shop.
Yeah, I would definitely give a round of applause to Scopely for that one. That was massive. That was a big time, a much needed upgrade as far as Showdown was concerned.
Yeah, I think it was. I think at the end of the day, that was one of those that I felt was needed, and a good thing for the community. So I get the one thing Scopely does really well is they will listen to their community. You may not always like it, but they do listen at the end of the day. Want to...
And I know there's been a couple of some comments as far as like those players, as far as the quote unquote whales that complain a lot. It's not really the whales. They like Chief said, they do now pay attention overall to the general champions community, and a lot of guys, I do recommend, constructive feedback, definitely players as well.
Well, and I think no matter what you do, you're going to get complaints. That's just part of life. You're not going to make everyone happy, but you're trying to find the balance of free to play and pay to play and everything else. So I feel like, they do a very good job of walking that line. I feel sometimes they cross the line one way or the other, but for the most part, Scopely does a very good job, playing that line.
Because I know they got a kick out of me a couple of feuds ago, giving them a laugh because they're taking a look at my roster and what I have.
We're not going to talk about that one right now.
But,
so where's everyone at on Big Boss Man?
At this point,
I feel like I'm way above pace here for a weird reason. I don't know why. It just seems like it's unless they're giving out a bunch of shards right now. Shane Zaddy, welcome to the stream, brother. RB, welcome to the stream. Do it like they did last month where they threw a bunch of Acrocena shards at you at first and then nothing the last 2 weeks. But I feel on them. The coachability, I think it's really good. Or the trainer ability on them, I think is really good with 75% power gems. I think that's really good at the end of the day. And then, before I go do hell mode. So, I'm running Beefcake pretty simple. At the end of the day, Taker, Kofi, Turtle Ray and Alexa. No belt, just kind of simple, efficient, ready to go kind of thing. That's how I'm running them. If anyone's got any other ways of running him, I am more than down to listen to it. I think the bleed damage works well too with the green. I never use it. I always just throw this out there because I got my power gems hitting for 747,000 at bronze, and then just hit that right there, and that pretty much ends the match. So, I'll go help my faction now and go get 22,000 faction points.
Definitely tune in Thursday for the post blog review, as we will give out more information on this weekend's giveaway.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a giveaway this weekend. We're gonna have a giveaway next weekend. So guys, just stay tuned to the stream. I'll post it on. I am hoping. Life has just kind of gotten in the way, so I'm hoping by Monday the Discord server is up and we can post that link on the social media sites and all that. So there is a couple, things in the work. At the end of the day.
We kind of don't want to give away too much information, but I will say this:
we're not giving any information away. We're not giving any information away. They can turn it. They can tune in on Thursday to get the information.
But it will be massive, so I do highly recommend that y'all guys tune in Thursday night.
So this is what you're getting this week. If you have Beefcake at 5 bronze or higher, you are going to get a 10 or 100,000 strap parts, a 60% gem damage strap for a striker attitude error, and a 60% move damage belt for attitude error striker. So that's something to look forward to if you already have him at 5 bronze or higher. And then we'll do a few showdown matches.
Mortal.
Yeah, if you guys haven't hit that follow or subscribe button, go ahead and hit that for us. Support us here. We try to make content for you guys as much as we can. I'm trying to be live at least 4 days a week now. So the schedule this week, I know yesterday we were supposed to be live. I had something come up. We moved it to today. We'll be live right when Boss Battle goes live tomorrow. We'll be live on Thursday night at 8 o'clock Central Time. And then we'll be live on Saturday when Showdown starts. So that's kind of how the week's going to look, as far as the champion streams go. Like NBA 2K25, WWE 2K25, or even some Black Ops 6. I know in September we'll be live doing Borderlands 4 when it comes out. And in July we'll also be live playing. We do like to play other video games, and we just like to have fun. So any recommendations you guys have, I'm always down to hear them as well. As far as what you guys want to see, I'm a person of my community, so I want, you guys to have that, kind of say in what we have here at the end of the day. Now we're just going to do a few showdown matches. Got about 19 minutes left here for the night. Not a lot of time just because of schedule changes. With this week, obviously, yesterday was just a crazy day. I was so tired from feud, I pretty much slept all day. So, that was part of the reason for stuff coming up. I had to get stuff done around the house as well. Three Angles, we're not gonna, I'm not gonna make a mean comment. I love my faction. They're a great group of guys, but you're not necessarily wrong on that either. I don't want to insult anyone. All factions are great, you know, it's what you put into it, you're going to get out of at the end of the day. And I'm a firm believer in that at the end of the day. So what you put into your factions, what you're going to get out of it. I know there's some that don't, you know, they don't do as well as others. Part of that, you know, I
Some
feel
don't go to the high either. So, but we're not here. At the end of the day, we're not here to bash any factions at all.
which message is Three Angles? Because we flood our server a lot with messages too. We just, you know, at the end of the day, we just want to have fun. Me and RB, we're the two leaders of our faction. We've been playing together now, what, RB, 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, something like that. Couple breaks in between, but pretty much.
We've known each other a long time, so it's, you know, at the end of the day, we just want to have fun. I could easily go to a higher faction. There's no doubt about it. But at the end of the day, I just want to have fun. This is a game that I want to have fun with. Don't really get out of it. And, you know, I'll throw this pitch in there. If you guys are ever looking for a faction, we're always looking for members. We always like new blood. So if you like to come in, hang out, you know, joke around, smash some gems, climb up the leaderboards, you know, hit me up. Socials on there. You can hit me up at God Mode TC on Discord and we'll get you in. You know, that's all there is to it. You know, we get in voice calls. We joke around with each other. If we don't like you, we don't pick on you. If we like you, we pick on you. I mean, that's really what it's all about at the end of the day. It's just having fun and growing a community at the end of the day and, you know, having a common goal. But yes, my faction would agree with you when it comes to feud. They definitely need me. I don't think any one of them would even disagree with that. Even though Mr. RB over here gives me a hard-ass time because, you know...
You should have 500.
Exactly. He thinks I should have hit 500 the other night when, you know...
Hey, you said you were going to hit 500. That's all I'm going to say.
You know, I can have lofty goals, too. I can have lofty goals. You know, when you can hit 300, you know, come talk to me.
Hey, as soon as I get my next promoter, it's gonna happen.
When you hit 300, we can talk. Then you know you can then talk with the big boys. Until then, you know there's the kids table at Thanksgiving. That's where your spot is right now.
Hey, I'm just saying the kids table was amazing. That's all I'm saying.
You know, Mortal.
I like the kids table.
Look, Mortal's at the grandkids table. Okay, so you know.
Hey, you know what? I'm surprised myself because I almost hit 150K finally.
Mortal, as big as your roster is, I would not be bragging that you finally you hit a personal best and it was under 200 or under 300 million. So you know,
it's like I was telling. No, it's like I was explaining to the guys with the updated straps, medals, and plates and everything else between. I'm a little iffy about my guys. Now, when it comes to my females, I'm all good. I know my females can smack.
Again, Mortal, you know, when we might eventually graduate you from the grandkid table to the kiddie table, but you're not there yet. You're not there yet. You know.
Well, I don't know. What's that coming up next weekend? I don't know.
You're still not there yet. You're still not there
yet. I gotta say, you better have some eyeballs in the back of your head because you would not see me coming. I'm telling you.
Mortal, on your best day, you can't touch me. And I think we all. I mean, I'm calling a spade a spade. On your best day, you can't touch me.
For now, I can't. For now.
And you have a bigger roster than I do. But on your best day, you can't touch me.
Not anytime soon, but I will eventually.
You better hope I'm not feuding that weekend.
Yeah, right. That's like saying me not DJing ever.
I mean, the next Big Sean, welcome. Appreciate you joining, man. Go ahead and hit that follow button if you haven't already. Appreciate you joining, Big Sean. Hashtag
Yeah, what up,
raw.
Sean?
Hashtag
How you
raw.
been?
Yeah. So no, he can't even see me. I'm so far up the leaderboards. You know, when I go look for his score, I can't even see him. So I know he can't see me. Hashtag raw brand. Hey, Big Sean, appreciate the follow, man. Hashtag raw brand. That's something we do in our factions. We do brands, and you know, the raw brand in our faction is very superior to everyone else.
I'm the number one overall draft pick, and I was drafted to NXT. So if my ship goes down, I'm going down with my captain. I'm not leaving my captain hanging. I'll just put it to you that way. That's how diehard I am.
Look. The raw brand don't want you anyway.
Okay.
We are not accepting mediocre players into the raw brand.
I personally am not taking that. I think you need to show him up in feud now.
Yeah, for real.
Oh yeah, Flash is going down. It's gonna get nasty. Those are off. No holds barred.
Again, Mortal. We all know how it works with Flash. You'll go get milk, and it'll be somewhere like, you know, you'll have to go milk the cow yourself, and it'll take you 5 hours, and then you'll have that excuse. So, you know, we know how this goes.
Yeah.
You know, don't make me get the guy who will shut you down real quick in this chat, because you know all I gotta do is type one thing and he'll show up.
On the end of the month, the middle and the end of the month dates are kind of separated. So since Flash is right around where I need it to be, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
give me 1 second, because, you know, chat, we're gonna make this real interesting here. Our buddy Bod is about to join the chat.
Bring it on. Bring that bad boy on. Like I said, hashtag we are one, hashtag we are NXT.
Yeah, you know.
I'm just gonna sit here, let y'all talk. And when my projects get up, they gonna creep up on you.
You know, Mr. Third Place, I don't think we need to even mention your group.
I got 15 projects and we're barely sitting in third place. That's all I'm gonna say.
You're 200 million behind them, so, you know, don't even go there.
200K, not 200 mil. 200K.
No, it's 200 million. Go back to
Is it 200 mil?
It's 200 million,
It's
sir.
200 mil.
Either way, that's one feud. That's one feud.
And those, I have a project myself for those Dragon New 806, also known as Little Mortal. That's my 8-year-old. He plays the game. That's how we spend our quality father and son time. So he's getting there. He's
again, you know, when y'all can come with the big boys where the big boys play in the Raw brand, you know, then we can have some talk. But right now, even the Raw brand's getting bored whipping y'all's NXT and SmackDown's asses too much. So we're getting a little bored right now within our own faction.
We all know it's two people carrying Raw right now.
For real. Take you out of that scoreboard. We watch them.
I mean,
You and Bod carry the whole entirety of Raw.
hey, I'm a great GM. I know how to draft. That's all I can say. I think
you only got Bod because Booga took Mortal.
How's that my fault? I drafted second. It's not like I had the first pick in every round.
Hey, you did the random number generator. I think you rigged it.
How did I? You said we were on live stream when I did it. You can't even say I rigged it.
You definitely rigged it.
I did everything possible not to rig it. We did it as easy as could be.
Nah, you're like the NBA.
Don't get me started on that one.
I still can't believe they're actually rigging the draft.
I still can't believe that is the most rigged thing ever. I'm sorry, you're not going to change my mind ever on that. Yes, I know we're getting off the champions chat, but this, with the stream. But this is how it goes with us. You never know what we're gonna say, what we're gonna get. Don't get me started on how a GM can trade their franchise player away, have a 1.4% chance of getting the number one pick, and somehow get the number one pick to save his damn job. That's all I'm going to say on that one. We won't talk about that too much here, but yeah, that's it. The NBA's draft's been rigged since day one, so that's a whole different ball game. Yeah, that's a whole different ball game at the end of the day. I honestly wish people would go with what the LW or the WPHL league does, the Women Professionals Hockey League does, where they give your draft ranking is based on whoever gets the number one draft is once you're mathematically eliminated. However many wins you get after you're mathematically eliminated gets you points, and the most points off that gets you the number one pick. So that's how I think it should be. But then again, I also think we need relegation in all professional sports leagues, because then the New York Jets would never be around in the NFL anymore. They'd be playing in the CFL or XFL or whatever you want to call that spring league bullshit.
Arena football. Yep.
And yes, Booga, that was a shot at you and your Jets.
No shot taken.
It's your Jets. So, all right, guys. Well, I think that's going to do it for today. Went over some boss battle prep. Went over some rosters. Like I said, we'll be live tomorrow, right when boss battle goes live. I believe it goes live right at 2 o'clock on the midweek. So we will be live at 2, probably a little earlier, just kind of chilling, jamming some music, bullshitting. Join us, guys. I appreciate every one of you guys. Thanks for joining the stream, and we're gonna get you out of here tonight with a song that we chose for tonight. So bear with me here just 1 second. That's the state of my head. That's the state of my head. It's been a long, bumpy ride sitting back in the saddle. It's time to get down, dirty up my knees in the battle. Oh, come on, round up the boys, gonna make the walls rattle. Oh, I like a static and I want to shout it, but it doesn't matter 'cause we're moving forward. Round them up, let's go. Round them up, let's go.